Hey guys, Dan Hood, Big DH 2000 here. Several people have asked for another shop video. Um, I don't know what you guys find so exciting about my shop. It's exciting to me, but let's get on with it. Okay, in the back corner, starting out here, got kind of my old dust collection system still hooked up to the planer. Um, but just because the planer pushes out a heavy load, so the big dust collector well, the big dust collector is also 4 inch. This thing's only 2 inch. Got the table saw. Still got to install the dust collector system under there. Lathe is still down there. Doesn't get used too much. Um, you've seen my slingshot template wall that I've put up. Okay. Come around here. Tools high and low. They're somewhat organized. I know where they're at. We come up here. We come to there's my pressure pot, my vacuum chamber, and other bits that run with it. Lots of cord. I have a collection of extension cords because I use them a lot. Painting, various things to fix stuff around the house. A few things that I eventually need to hang around the house. Other stuff I've collected over the years, like toasters, microwaves, all things for doing stuff that I don't do much now. Toolbox, got some stuff in it. And you see my drill presses. You can see I don't know that I've put much of a video up since I put this dust collector system in. Okay, got my polisher. This one is almost always set up for polishing because I do a ton of it. I need that one. I got controllable speed. These ones are heavy duty. This is a lot more stable, old school drill press, so I use that for drilling. Down here, bits and bobs, pieces of stuff. In here, I keep my pins. Okay, got a whole bunch of grinders up there because I've started touching up some knives and dressing them up with handles. We go back here, we got all the hack saws and the regular saws hanging up on the wall, sanding. Over there, those two reels over there are emery cloth sandpaper for sanding holes. Got the variable speed scroll saw now. Found that quite by accident. You can also see my dust collection system goes everywhere. Got gates. I found the plastic gates to be okay for what I'm doing. A professional shop probably wouldn't. Do a lot of weighing here because as you can see down there, I now do a fair amount of resin casting for my own, not to sell. There's all my various polishing compounds, glues. This section is Dremels, which I don't really use much anymore. Hand saws, hand tools, all that kind of stuff. Big old box of polishing wheels. Some I should just throw away. In case something gets hot, it gets thrown in the bucket of water. And you notice I pretty much got extra lighting everywhere. A shop with not enough light is not a good thing. A lot of hand tools. My metal vise, the hand tools, clamps. You can see clamps everywhere, sandpaper everywhere. This is a really old school wood vise my dad gave you. Several of you have seen it before. I keep it covered. It opens and closes. But I keep it covered because I spill a lot of glue there. I literally just keep old clothing, and every once in a while I cut a piece out, cover it up, throw the other piece away. I dressed it up pretty for the video, put a new thing. Here's something I turned on my lathe, a wood mallet. A very fine balsa wood saw I use for a lot of things. Okay, you can see the dust collection system running back there, knives, miniature files, more files. Okay, wood burner. Okay, just tons of stuff just hanging around that I I use quite frequently. And you'll notice I got 5-gallon buckets everywhere for trash. Clamps lined up, glass cups, okay. Under here, you know, my melting pans, my aluminum foil. Here's the planer from the front. Once again, bought this off of a secondhand place, and the only thing that was wrong with it is it arrived in a damaged box, so they couldn't sell it. Weird. So I got like almost 30%, 40% off on the thing. That's a lot of stuff I throw in my stone. You can put stones in that and polish them. The polisher, I use a variety of things. I just leave them here. I sometimes polish slingshots. It's awfully tiny, so I don't do much of that. Here's dowels. Once again, you'll notice I have a ton of different kinds of sanders. This is to sharpen drill bits. You notice I've also added a long power strip back here. Understand, I got way more plugged in there than I ever use at once. If I use it all at once, it would blow the circuit, but I plug it all in just for the convenience of not having to plug and unplug junk. Here's my old scroll saw. My dad's retrofitted this several times for me. Only complaint I have with it is it's not variable speed. Pressure pot, done a lot of resin in that. My logo burner, okay. Allen keys laying around because I use them everywhere. My convection oven, okay. I'm also, you can see a few bits and bobs here, restoring some old tools, okay. A set of planes I just keep here because I use a lot. Another scale, something soaking in cactus juice right now. The bottle there to refill afterwards. Chop saw, which I hardly ever use now. Let's go back here. You guys know the band saw. I try to replace the plywood every so often, gets beat up. There's my apron. I wear 2 or 3 aprons. And you notice I got hearing protection, bandsaw blades. Every once in a while my son comes down here and he hangs out with me. Got a few other battery operated tools back there that I pull out when I need them. Some people want to know what this is. It's just an old wax candle. Once in a while you just gotta wax up your blade just to soften it. All kinds of orbital sander stuff, spindle sander stuff, wrenches that I sometimes use, my breathing and eye protection. I always use a face shield, just good practice. More spindle sander stuff. I've got a Rockwell, I forget what they call this, Blade Runner. I don't use it too much anymore. It's got positives, but the bandsaw is what I'm more comfortable with. More bits and bobs for the spindle sander. The spindle sander is probably one of the highlights of my shop, the part that's used the most. The only thing used more than it is probably that belt sander, and the one belt sander up there you see I've made. Let me get up close so you can see it. You see I've made dust collections for them. It does a decent job, but not perfect. Okay, we'll come back here. Next to the spindle sander you have a grinder. Well, one has a polishing wheel. This is for knife sharpening if you're into that kind. I kind of inherited this thing. I've used it some, not all the time. You always got to have a wire brush to clean off your spindles. Got all kinds of router bits and bobs up here for the tools that sit on this side of the shop. Once again, got another power strip up there. Obviously I don't run more than a light and one tool at a time out of it. These really cool, I did a video on those really cool wood clamps my dad found me. A level that sticks to the back of the fuse box. Things to hold slingshots while you run them through big routers and little routers. So you can see a whole bunch of dust collection system back here. This one I leave loose so I can clean up the tabletop router and go all over and clean up. This is my little handy dandy battery operated router that I use a ton because it's easier to control. And then down here I got the 3 horsepower. Basically when I fire this thing up, the whole neighborhood hears it. Keeping spare belts down there. This belt sander gets used a ton too, especially when I don't want something that's so powerful it can skin my fingers. Let's go over here. My band cutting table holds a variety of things, including a bucket full of paracord, things like that. Dusty, but there's also stuff down here. Once again, trash buckets everywhere and cooling water buckets everywhere. My handy dandy compressor back there. This beast runs a lot of stuff in my shop. And some of you have been curious. You'll see back there, it has, back in that corner, it's something that takes the humidity out. Only reason I have it is because when we first used compressors, we were doing a lot of automotive spray painting, and you got to do that. Okay, you got golly floor to ceiling felt that's a little dusty right now. I use it for making my own micarta. There's tons of G10 and other wood materials, a couple of things. Then we get down to the paracord and various other things, including my logo template. Okay, and some of these that's like stuff to dry wood with. Then you get down here, this is where I normally store my cactus juice, stuff to clamp and hold HDPE while it's drying. That's what I use to separate magnets. Some of you have seen that video. The bigger pieces of materials over here. The trash can, which no matter how often I empty, seems to fill up instantly. The big shop vac. We're back to the lathe. Below that on the floor, that wood board is for me to sit on and push things up against like an old-fashioned plain table. I bought this to start holding projects. Okay, it arrived. 5 of the bins were chipped and cracked and whatnot. They've sent me replacements. I haven't put them in yet. My charging station over here, that thing runs almost non-stop. It's surprised it doesn't have a battery in it. Some of my HDPE molds for resin casting. Here's a project that I still got to figure out what bin to put in. As I've shown some of you, you just pull one of these out and it's got a project. This is some resin I cast sometime back. It's got a cholla cactus in it. Somebody has asked for a design. I've got the design picked out. So when I get started and create a core, I'll keep that in there, keep it all together so I know where it's at. Over here, you guys have seen my new toy, the big thickness sander. So you run it through the planer, and you run it through the sander to get it smooth. You can see I'm still working at connecting it over there to the dust collection system. I've got the gate, but the splitter I need for over there, well, yeah, Amazon will deliver it when it's no longer them shipping what do you call it, essential stuff only. Battery operated drills of various kinds, rubber bands, projects that are too long to put anywhere. Still have some big pieces here. The shipping corner, bags, pouches to fill. Okay, oh yeah, here we go. Let's get a shot of the dust collector. This beast takes a beating. Okay, it's quite good. Bought it from Harbor Freight. Back here we have, you guys have all seen my stack of naturals that I can work on at some time. Just letting them cure for years and years, as some of them require. Other kinds of wood. This is that fancy foam you've seen me use. The stuff I keep and I take to every slingshot event for us to use. Trash cans, here we go. More shipping. Varieties of ammo and miscellaneous stuff for slingshots. More miscellaneous stuff, including my business card area. Bins that go with me when I go to certain slingshot events. More bins. That's an ammo sorter I developed some time back. I occasionally use it. Don't use that size ammo anymore. Oh, let's get back here. You can see slingshots hanging all up and down the sides. Old bedside table that we were about to throw out, so I brought it down here just for now. Working on a small forge. Got everything but the propane tank. That's one more project I'm pulling together slowly. More slingshots, more slingshots, more slingshots. Dad's bow, arrows that he lets me use. Come out here, more slingshots, more slingshots, more slingshots. We'll pop down here. My basement, nothing fancy about it. Shooting range down that way. My spray paint area, which I keep in a slightly different place so that I can spray paint and not have to worry about the stink. Dog just came in, he realized I'm here. Got my camera tripod set up there for something I was doing. Bins to hold cans before and after, as I call it. Okay, an old mattress we were going to throw out went up behind to protect the wall and protect me from ricochets. You can see I got a nice shooting light down there, and yes, that's an IV pole. Porthos. An IV pole that I inherited. Holds a thing well. Here, since you're in such a rush, show them how you're shedding like crazy, and I brush you every single day, and you still got more coming off. I haven't brushed him yet today. You've seen my shooting spot. You've seen my custom target I'm going to put out there. You've seen my custom stamp from Matt. Bean Flip had these made. My 10 ammo. Okay. Big bin I need to eventually turn into another catch box and stick in the backyard. This is pretty much where I hold more miscellaneous stuff, but mainly it's all the ones that are for sale or are selling or going out. That back there is one of my, where I take some of my favorites to various competitions to show people. Every time I go, it's something a little different. Bins back there to hold stuff. You can see I've been working on cases. There's a case unfinished. Here's cases holding all my favorite slingshots that I shoot a lot. Here's my sell for sale one. Okay, delivery, a couple others. Let me just, here's a knife I made sometime back. Here's a plastic version of that for people to test. Still got a few in there. Okay. This one pretty much empty. Got this from somebody because they want me to mimic it a little bit. Okay. My band box back there. That's a tub full of bands. My speaker blaster. And then you see the big long rifle case holds that big long Starship shooter. Over here you have what I call my shooting bench. Got all the ones I'm shooting right now or in the next few weeks. My tournament shooter that I shoot all the time. My case for ammo. Another knife. Here's another bunch of stuff that I use a lot. My ammo picker-upper. And then, oh yeah, big, tall, long slingshots that I have that are from various people. Collected over the years. I've only made one of those 4. I enjoy them. Some of them are one and onlys. The person who made them never made never traded with anyone else again. Anyway, let's end looking at the shooting gallery. Sorry this was long. Hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing everything. I find it exciting, and apparently several of you do. The rest of you, sorry if we bored you. Big DH signing out.